In this video, we are going to see how we can improve OpenEdX theming using Next.js and Vercel. But before going through that workflow, let's see how OpenEdX default theme works and how we can make customization and why it's painful actually and why we need to replace that with different front-end system. So now I have a fresh installation of OpenEdX based on Juniper version. Let's refresh that. And before going through any customization, let's see how is the performance of this site. If I go to the Lighthouse, I go a little bit down, I generate a report, and the Lighthouse is running, auditing my platform based on best practices, and it's going to give me a report of how my platform is doing. So the report is really bad. Performance is 36, accessibility is almost 100, best practices is almost good, SEO is almost good as well. But performance is really bad, and best practice and SEO, they still can get improved. So now let's see how we can do really a small customization of the OpenEdX theming. As you see, we have a fresh installation of OpenEdX. What I'm going to do is replacing this logo with what I have in placeholder logo. So we are going to replace that logo with this one. So how this works, I have to SSH into my server. Right now I'm going to do SSH, but if you are actually doing that in production or staging environment, you should have a repo of your theming, make the changes in that repo, and after that you have to pull and compile asset in the server. But I'm just going to make sure I can show that to you as fast as possible. I'm going to do that directly in the server. So I do sudo vim edX app, edX platform, LMS template, I think, and in header we have a nav logo header, I think. And here is the image actually we should replace that have a class of logo. Just to make sure, I'm going to inspect this element. Yeah, it has a class of logo, it has a source, alt. Yeah, I think we are right about this element. I'm going to replace that with the direct URL of the logo. So I grab this URL and I replace that here, and I save the Vim here. So now we have two more steps here. So as I mentioned, if you're in production or a staging environment, you are not going to do that directly in your server. You're going to do that in your repo and pull all the changes in your server. So you have three steps in normal environments. So the next step is actually I have to compile assets. So if I remember well, there is edX app code for update assets. So I update assets. And this is going to take some time, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. I'm going to pause the video, and when it's done, I come back. Okay, compiling all the assets are done. So I have to do one more step, which is restarting services. And here we go. I restart all the services. I have to wait everything is stop and start, and after that I can do a hard refresh of my site to see how is the logo now, if it changed or no. I'm going to pause again the video till the site gets back up, and after that we can see the changes. Okay, all the services got restarted. Now just let's get a quick status of everything to make sure they are up and running. Yes, they are up and running. Now let's open my Chrome. And when I hard refresh this site, this logo should change. As you see, the logo changed. But you see, making a really small change in theming required first technical knowledge. Just to change the logo, it shouldn't be a developer job, but you need to be a developer to make that change. And after that, it consumes a lot of time of the developer to compile all the assets, restart services, and after that to make sure the change is working in the site. So that was the need to replace this whole front-end system with something more modern, like Next.js, using React and hosting that somewhere that improve the performance of our site. So we created the front-end system based on Next.js and hosted that in Vercel, and you are going to see now how the whole system looks like after replacing the front end. But just to explain a little bit how this change works, actually we are going to apply some redirects. So when the user enters the URL of our platform, it should get redirected to the front end. And why is that? It's because that front end system lives somewhere outside of OpenEdX codebase. It's something outside. It's like in microservices. It has its own platform, its own repo, doesn't depend on OpenEdX at all, lives somewhere else, and we make that integration using Nginx redirects and using Nginx actually. So now let's apply those changes. So I already, before I go here, I already have that site up and running. If I go to staging, there we should see that site actually, but it's not connected to OpenEdX. So this is my Next.js Vercel site, and this is my OpenEdX site. To make sure these two pieces work together, I make that change in my Nginx. Just quickly doing that. I already introduced that here and commented out actually these 3 lines of code. So whenever user going to the root of this OpenEdX site, they should get redirected to the Vercel site. And for other pieces, for example, if they're going to see the courses, instead of showing the courses of OpenEdX, which is part of their front-end system, we are going to show our own front end for courses. So I'm going to save these changes, restart my Nginx, and give it some time to make sure it works. So now if I refresh this page, the user shouldn't be able to see OpenEdX frontend. So I refresh this page, you see I got redirected to the Vercel Next.js site. And the login registration should work. You see we have 3 courses, as we saw before in the default OpenEdX frontend. There were 3 courses. We have 3 courses here as well. If I click on them to enroll, I should get redirected to a login registration page. First to login, after that I should get enrolled. And if I click on login, it should work with OpenEdX login page, which is connected to Auth0 actually now, and sign up as well. So let's do a quick sign up first. Let's sign up my user and see how everything works. I give my email, quickly sign up. Choose a country from list here, sign up. Oh, I have some issue here. Sign up again. So I'm going to sign up here. I give my email with some random character, some password, my full name, company name, country. Let's pick a country from here, Argentina for example, opt-in and sign up. So my registration should work now. I should get a user in the site, and from here I can see the front page of the platform. So if I click on the courses, and for example I want to enroll in this course, I get enrolled, and as you see I got redirected to OpenEdX and I can see my course. I click on demonstration course. I should be able to see now the unit of learning of this course here. And if the user wants to see courses, now if I click here on discover now, I should get redirected to the Nginx front end to see the courses. So I click here, and as you see, now I'm back to the Nginx powered site, and I see all the courses that exist in my platform. So all this information comes from APIs. So we have an API in OpenEdX to gives us a list of all the courses, and we pass that information. If I want to show you quickly here, I bring my VS Code here. So we are using a static props here, and we have courses course API. There's an API to gives us information about all the courses, and we build that courses section based on what we receive from this API. Now let's do a really quick change in logo. Actually, we showed in OpenEdX how you can change the logo. Now let's see how we can make a change in the logo in Next.js site. So I have a logo here, cubot.dev. I just want to make all of these capital and with the uppercase letter. So I make the change here. And as I mentioned before, you just need to commit that here, and it's automatically in Vercel. Your site gets rendered again. It's compiled all the asset by itself. I as a developer shouldn't do that manually, so everything is automatic. And after that, I should see the change automatically in my site, which doesn't take too much time, maybe 1 to 2 minutes maximum for this deployment. So I just add, let's remove the caps. We add theme, for example, and logo upper case, and we push this to the repo, and it should get deployed automatically in Vercel, and in 1 minute my site should show that new uppercased logo. So the build is done. I'm just seeing my Vercel dashboard. It took 1 minute. Actually, it didn't take too much time. So the build is done. I refresh the page. Let's do a hard refresh as well, and I should see now, as you see, the logo changed. So same a small change of logo. It took 1 minute in our new front-end site, and with OpenEdX default, it took almost 30 to 40 minutes for really a small theming change. Imagine if you want to do something complex with your platform. And before we finish this video, let's see quickly now the performance. You remember we did Lighthouse editing of our site, and we showed the performance of the site. Now let's see how with this new front-end system that we replaced with default front-end system of OpenEdX, how our performance, accessibility, best practices, all those reports look like. Let's generate the report. Let's give it some time. You see we got to 94 for our auditing. So that's it. That's how we replaced OpenEdX front-end default front-end system with a new front-end system powered by Next.js and Vercel.